my night loves, and welcome back to another video on my channel. And today we are back with another video. I've been doing well, I just started recently doing a lot of vlogging videos where I just sit and talk in front of the camera, and because I actually really, in the past, I actually really enjoy doing that. That's how I worked my way into doing video games. Before I did this, I did anime videos where I did anime music videos, AMV. But yeah, so I started off with that, and then I worked my way into doing vlogging videos where I just said, I feel like vlogging videos are like where you go and do stuff and you vlog it. I think these are just talking videos, but technically they're still vlogging videos, but I just don't do anything. I just sit and talk in front of the camera. So in today's video, I am going to be talking about an ex that I had. I don't think I did this video. I know I did a lot of talking videos in the past, but I can't remember exactly what I've talked about and what I haven't talked about. And I know the one that I recently posted was about my ex-best friend. I will be doing another one about my best friend now. And then I'm going to do probably another video on a best friend I had, my very ever first best friend. Yeah, so we're going from my ex-best friend to my now best friend to an old best friend from when I was a child. Anyway, so today's video is about an ex that I had. The one ex that I seriously regret ever dating, and I wish that I never did. This guy, his name was Alan. I really liked him. We were in the same class together. This is when I wasn't in special ed classes anymore. I was in what technically was regular classes, but it wasn't really regular classes because I still had like a lady who followed me to different classes and helped me and stuff like that. There were some classes where I didn't have like there was like two teachers in the room. One was actually the teacher, and the other lady was the other teacher that was helping me take notes and stuff like that. I was in this class with this guy, Alan, and I was in the back of the room. I can't remember what class it was, but I remember we were in the back of the room at this table, and I was in my wheelchair because when I go to school, I always took my wheelchair. If you do not know, I have a disability, and it's a walking disability, and I can't walk long distances. Middle school and high school, I always was in a wheelchair because I couldn't walk the halls without almost falling over or getting tired and stuff like that. So taking my wheelchair to school was the easiest and fastest way for me to get around and get from point A to point B without being late, because if I didn't have my wheelchair and I walked, so if I didn't have my wheelchair, I would have been late to class every single day because I am very slow. Like, I am turtle slow, kind of. Well, actually, I think I'm faster than a turtle, but I'm very slow. People can always bypass me. I was in my wheelchair in the back of the class at this table, and it was me, Alan, a couple of other kids, and we're just sitting there chilling. Started to fall for Alan. I started having a crush on him, and I whispered to this girl that I was kind of friends with, but not really. And I'm like, I have a crush on Alan. Do you think I should like ask him out? Blah blah blah. And I don't think he heard me because I was whispering it. And she's like, she looked at Alan and she looked back at me, and she's like, I don't know. She like, I don't even know she knew, like, I don't know. I think she was grossed out because a lot of people didn't like Alan because of multiple reasons, and I don't even know why I liked him. So he wasn't a guy who was big on hygiene. Why would I fall for a guy like that? I don't know. You know how girls tend to fall for a guy, and then she's like, I want to, change him. I think it was that reason, because he didn't take care of himself properly and stuff like that, and I guess I fell for him in the sense that I wanted to change him and make him like a better person and make it show people that he's not disgusting and stuff like that. So because he didn't take care of himself, people thought he was gross and whatnot, and I thought in my head, I'm like, if he just took a shower, he would be alright, you know? He wouldn't be bad. He wouldn't look gross, you know? And he wasn't a bad guy or anything like that. He was really good. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to ask him out. So I asked him out. And he, of course, said yes. So we started dating. And I really liked him. And as time passed, obviously the feelings got deeper. I really liked him. And it's like that, and my mom met him, she seemed to really like him, but then later on I found out she didn't like him at all, and which pissed me off. And when mom tried to tell me something about Alan and stuff like that, of course I would be like, I don't care, you can say you don't like my boyfriend, but I'm going to date him anyways, because I was a teenager. Technically I wasn't even a teenager, I was like, because I stayed until high school until I was 21, so I was 19, almost turning into 21, turning 20. Was in high school. Alan was 18, so it wasn't like illegal or anything like that. He was of age, so I couldn't get in trouble or anything like that. My mom didn't like him, so she tried to tell me something, and I'm like, I don't care. You can dislike him all you want, but I'm still gonna date him. So every time when I went over to his house, we would play games, but he would also try to do that I was not ready yet for. I want to wait for the right guy. And wait for Mr. Right. Well, even though I was in that relationship and I had really deep connections with him, I still didn't feel like he was the right guy enough to give myself to him. So he would try something and I, of course, would stop him like, no, I'm not ready for that. And then I would tell him, I want to wait until marriage. We'll have to get married for you to get lucky. And of course, he said okay. I thought he would get it through his head that he's not gonna get anything until we get married. So every time I went over to his house to hang out. Sometimes we'll be downstairs hanging out with his parents, watching a movie, eating popcorn, eating pizza, talking with them, getting to know them, and stuff like that. And then eventually we'll go up to his room, play some video games, start kissing, and then he will try to do something again, and I'm like, Alan, you know I am not going to do that kind of stuff until we're married. He just would not get it through his head. And my mom, I felt like she was trying to warn me about that, and stuff like that, but I'm like, no, Alan won't do that because he knows that what I want. Me being stupid and me thinking I'm in love, and, you know, they say love is blinding. Yeah, it really is blinding, because he tried multiple times, like so many times, to do things with me, and I wasn't ready for it. And I told him every single time, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. And I don't, like, I felt like a broken record. I'm like, I'm not ready. How get it through your freaking head that you're not. You know, we dated for almost a year. We made it to our 11th month anniversary, and that's when I decided to end it, because I was just tired of him trying to, you know, get with me and stuff like that. But before that, tell you guys about some stuff that happened before me and him broke up. Me and my mom would constantly argue about Alan. I, of course, was in this, you know, love is blinding situation where I was just blind and didn't want to see the truth. And she would try to tell me, and I, of course, would not listen. I'm like, I don't care. You know, typical teenager. I wasn't a bad teenager. I was actually a pretty good teenager. I did go through phases where I would, like, rebel against my mom, like with Alan. She would try to tell me something about Alan. I, of course, would be like, no, you can't tell me what to do, blah, blah, blah. You know? So, but I wasn't that bad. Like, my sister was a lot worse than me. So my mom got lucky with me. There was times where I would, like, get mad, we'll argue, I'll back talk to her, and it's like that, but I wasn't bad. Like, my sister, she got kicked out of school, and expelled, and all kinds of certain things, and I'm not gonna get into it, but she was a real piece of work. So, one time, me and my mom were in the kitchen. It was right before school, and I don't remember how the conversation with me and Alan came up, but something came up, and me and my mom got into an argument. And this argument, normally we get into arguments, but this argument, it was a lot different from the last argument. I think my mom was just tired of me ignoring her warnings about him, that she just wanted to smack the shit out of me and smack some sense into me pretty much. And I was in the kitchen, she was in the living room, and then suddenly she was like charging at me. She like stepped over we had this like gate like in between the kitchen and the living room to keep the animals out of the kitchen, so when we're in there we're not tripping over the charges. Pretty much jumps over this gate, and then next thing I know I'm like being pushed up against the counter. And it kind of triggered something in me, like, because I went through something like this similar when I was in middle school. This girl slammed me up against the wall and started choking me, and I had to dig my nails into her to get away, and it of course triggered something in me, so I went into gotta survive mode. She slammed me up against the counter, and of course I'm in this whole gotta survive mode. So I like slid down onto my butt, and then I lift up my strongest foot, put my foot on her stomach, and I pushed her back because I couldn't do it with my arms. But I don't know why. I don't know. Like, my legs aren't strong. But for some reason, something told me to sit on my butt and just put my foot up and like push her away. So she stumbled back. The next thing we know, we hear outside. And that was my bus driver telling me he's here to pick me up. We didn't have time to like calm down from the situation or anything like that. I got in my wheelchair, got out on the bus, and went on my merry way. My mom told me she loved me. I didn't say I love her back or anything. I just got on the bus and left because I just didn't want to talk to her anymore. Yeah, that was the first ever fight that me and my mom got into. It was like so severe that she put her hands onto me. And I think it was that moment where mom was like, I'm tired of you not listening to me about Alan, that I'm like gently gonna slap some sense in you. But of course I ended up escaping from her. But anyway, so I got to school and my teacher noticed that I was upset and she asked me what was going on. And then the moment she asked me what the hell was going on, I bawled my eyes out, cried, and was blubbering like a little baby, telling her what the hell happened, that me and my mom got into an argument. I was 19 years old, so they couldn't really call like child services or anything like that because I'm old enough to technically be on my own. I went home. I don't even know if we made up. I can't remember that part, if we ever made up or anything like that, but I just remember the argument and that was pretty scary. That was before me and Alan broke up, before I actually got it through my head like he only had one thing on his mind and that was it, and he was never gonna change. Hello, future me popping in real quick. I forgot something on the video, like always. I don't know how I forgot this, because this is one of the main reasons I broke up with him, is because he was a compulsive liar. He lied about a lot of things in our relationship. Like, one time he told me that he had a cousin who was in the Green Day band, and every time I asked him to call up his cousin that was in the band, he would say, oh, he's busy or he's out on tour or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then I asked him to point out the guy who was his cousin from the Green Day band. And he's like, oh, he's the main lead singer of the band. Like, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, when I was in my head, I'm like, sure. But when he was telling me that, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And he's like, yeah. So I made him pretend to think that I was actually like believing it, when in reality I wasn't believing it at all. So yeah, he would lie to me, but I would obviously catch him in a lie and know that he was lying. One time he told me that he had a brother who passed away, and at first I thought he was lying for some reason. At first I thought he was, but then it turned out he wasn't lying. Well, I was like, he told me that his brother passed away, and I'm like, wait, is he telling the truth or is he lying? Because he told me so many freaking lies that I couldn't tell what was the truth or what was a lie anymore. So maybe he was telling the truth at some points, but other times he was just lying straight up to my face. Like, I know for a fact that that guy was not his cousin. Like, I know he was lying because I asked his mother about it, and she's like, yeah, I know. But yeah, he told me that he had a brother, and his brother had passed away, and of course, at this point in time, he told me so many lies that I'm like, what's lie? What's real? Then I asked his mom about it, and she's like, yeah, he had a brother who passed away, and I'm like, ugh, and I felt so bad for thinking that he was lying about that. But like I said, he lied to me so much, it was hard to like tell what was lying, what was true. So that's another reason why I ended up breaking up with him. He did get better with his hygiene. I know I said something about his hygiene, and I never, like, he would take a shower and stuff like that, but I don't think he could clean himself properly. Like, he'll clean his hair, but he's bad at cleaning his room. Oh my god. He was so bad at cleaning his room that I would get on his bed and there'd be underwear in his bed, and I would pick it up and go to chuck it, and then I realized there's like shit stains on it. Yeah, he was like flipping gross AF, and I'm like seriously, I regret dating this man, or this boy. I just he, like, every time I think about it, I cringe so freaking hard. I'm like, what was I thinking? Why? But yeah, he was like my first ever real long relationship, and I'm shocked that it lasted that long. I don't know, I feel like I was forcing it, wanting it to be like, he's the one I'm meant to be with kind of thing. I don't know, I really just don't know. But I've never been really in a relationship where it's been really long. I had relationships that lasted 5 months to maybe 6 months, but he was the first one that ever lasted 11 months, almost the full year. There was one time, oh, I totally forgot about this part. I had, like, I think it was around the time of my monthly, and you know, when girls get around that time, they crave chocolate or something like that. I crave chocolate when it's close to my monthly. But this particularly month, I decided that I was craving pickles. And that is a normal craving for girls who are pregnant, technically, but it's not. It doesn't go for everybody. Like, my mom, when she was pregnant, for us kids, she craved pickles and some other stuff. This particular month, I was craving pickles, so I took a whole jar out of the refrigerator and sat down and ate the whole jar. My mom saw that, and oh boy, did she lose her freaking mind. She's like, "Are you pregnant?" And I'm like, "No." I need to go get a pregnancy test so we can check if you're pregnant? And I'm like, no, because I'm still a virgin. You don't need to get a freaking test to test if I'm pregnant, because I know I'm not pregnant because I haven't had sex yet. For the love of God, I can't eat a whole freaking jar of pickles without her thinking that I was freaking pregnant. I think my mom had a lot of trust issues. I have never ever broken my mom's trust, ever. So her to not trust me when I said that I was not pregnant kind of hurt. So my mom would let my sister, like, she would go to sleep over at her boyfriend. She can go and do whatever. She can pretty much do whatever she wanted. And then when I try to do whatever I wanted, oh no, it's not happening. Nope. But the moment I'm trying to sleep over at my boyfriend's house, of course, now I can, because I live on my own and I can do whatever I want. Even though I was 19 years old, almost 20, I could still do whatever I want. My mom couldn't tell me what to do, but she still told me what to do. And of course, I listened, because I didn't want to make my mom's life harder than what it was when she already has a daughter that won't listen to her. So I tried my best not to make my mom's life even harder when she had to deal with my sister. Anyway, so that is technically my worst boyfriend. Anyways, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Ring that bell if you want to see more videos from me. Subscribe if you want to. And I'll see all you beautiful night wolves in the next video. Goodbye.
Love you.